Hello everyone, I am Wendy with Winds of Change Ministries, and today I'm going to share another couple of dreams I had last night because they're kind of relevant to my personal journey, but maybe someone out there can glean some knowledge and wisdom, understanding from these dreams and apply it to themselves. So I'm going to start with the first dream. So I was at checkout at a grocery store, and there were no other checkouts. There was really no other grocery lines or anything. It was just my checkout, black void, and then as the surrounding, no details. And then a large family came through, and they were trying to swipe their card to pay for something, to pay for all their food. And it was a large family, and it came out to being over $2,000. Okay, was the amount of that transaction, 2,000 and something. Unfortunately, I don't remember. But I bet, I bet it might have, based on the next dream, I bet it had was probably this year, 2025, which is the 9 year. And you'll see in the next dream why I think it was actually that number. It was 2,000 something, but it wasn't swiping, and it was a government card too. Okay, so this wasn't like a bank card or anything. It was an EBT, food stamp type card, and for some reason the funds were denied. Okay, and anyway, I saw this. It was it was 5 women and 1 baby boy. Okay, and I saw the baby boy, and it was drinking a formula bottle, and for whatever reason, it was fussing about that formula. Okay, it didn't like it or something, and I felt within my own breasts, I felt like I had dropped milk. Okay, and I nursed all 4 of my children, and so I know that feeling. Okay, is like, anyway, and I said, hey, why don't you let me nurse the baby while you figure that out with why you can't get food, why you can't pay for food? Let me nurse this baby. So here I was nursing the baby, and at first it latched on, but then it pulled away, and it looked at my breast like, what the heck is this? Because it had always been bottle fed. It was never, it didn't know how to nurse off of a natural breast. Okay, so anyway, the let me just tell you that breast milk is a lot different than formula, man-made formula. Okay, it has a sweetness to it, and when the baby processes it, the diapers don't stink as they don't even stink. They have a sweet smell versus that. We all know what that dirty diaper smell is, right? No one likes that dirty diaper smell. But if it's a breastfed baby, the diapers don't stink. That's true. So, this baby was not used to the milk and was not used to the the natural nipple, and it I was looking at it weird. Wasn't necessarily rejecting it, but just thought, this is weird. Okay, and anyway, so that was the end of that dream. Now let me tell you what it means. So there were a total of 6 women, including myself, and 1 masculine. And there is some deep symbolism to this. So you've got the 6 spirits of God, and then, or excuse me, yeah, the 6 spirits of God, and then the Spirit of God himself, right? He who exists. So you've got knowledge, wisdom, understanding. I forget the rest. I should have looked it up. But, the fear of the Lord, courage. I don't know. I should have looked it up. But there's 6. And then in the center is he who exists, which is God himself, right? And so this is a representation of the menorah, which is a representation of the bride of Christ. Okay? So there are aspects. Anyway, but all these other women could not produce natural milk themselves. And so what does this mean? They could, and their EBT card wasn't working, so they couldn't get more food. All right, so this is talking about spiritual downloads. All right, the spiritual food, because this is a spiritual dream, so it's all very symbolic. So the spiritual food was not going to those other women. Okay, they weren't producing, they weren't getting the spiritual downloads that they were used to. They were cut off from that energy. Okay, now me, I produce my own natural food. It wells up within me. And the difference is, and I'm not trying to insult anyone, there are people out there who are book smart, and they know things because of what they learned in books. And then there are those of us who have lived it and learned it the hard way. All right, and I have lived out the Bible in my dreams and in supernatural experiences. Okay, I have lived it. It's in me. I experience these things. Okay, most people read the Bible and there it is, black and white, or any knowledge, whatever. I've learned a lot of esoteric knowledge in my dream state, and only after the dream did the information come to me in the book form. All right, so it's in me. It just has to be confirmed by a book. And anyway, so that's what the dream is. And this baby didn't know how to take me because I was different and a little weird, right? But so anyway, in the next dream, and it's not related to this one at all, they're separate, and yet there is a connection. I was selling and moving everything out of my house. And I don't know, I was just selling it all and I guess planning to move or something. So I had someone, I used to buy and sell glass on Amazon, not Amazon, eBay. And I have a lot of leftover glass from when I stopped selling. Anyway, so I had these ladies come into my house and they were planning on buying all of the rest of my antique and vintage things. All right. And so this lady they were all women and they were taking charge. This one woman came up to me and said, she said, this is really nice. You could sell this for $45. It was a broken piece of glass. And I thought, that's expensive, $45. Well, there's that number 9. 4 plus 5 is 9, okay? Which is why I think the last transaction where they couldn't buy that food was $2,025, okay? So, because that equals 9 too, and we have just entered a the 9th new moon of the year. Okay, so anyway, the and the number 9 is the last number before 10, which is the beginning of the 1, 2, 3, 4, which is the beginning of a new cycle, a new deca. Okay, so it's what must end in preparation for the new. And so I was selling everything out of my house, I guess, in preparation for the new. But this lady was telling me that that little shard of glass was really nice, and I should keep it. It's worth $45. All right. So I was like, what is so interesting about this broken shard of glass? So I noticed that the edges had been polished, so you can touch it without getting cut. I noticed that there was a circle imprinted on it with a bunch of little dots of stars. Okay. Now, after the dream, in the dream itself, I felt like there was 20 stars, but that I didn't count it out. I just had that impression that there were 20. After the dream, I actually looked up like the U.S. flag, because I know the old flags where they had 13 stars, and no, there was a lot more than that. So then I typed 20 stars in a circle, and I was like, okay, yes. So 20 stars. Now, this shard of glass was impressed. All right, so it had that stamped on it. It wasn't cut glass, and but it was also green. Okay, so green is associated with your heart. Okay, so it represents my broken heart and the end of something, the end of its brokenness. So it has a lot of value, right? So as I'm holding this shard in my hand, it suddenly started to take shape, and I noticed that it transformed into, actually, the edges polished in my hand. It started off sharp, but anyway, and so here I am looking at it, and the edges polished. I noticed the little stamp with the 20 stars, and it transformed into, I saw a hole was now suddenly drilled in it. It started to take shape, and then I saw that it had a key ring connected to it, so that it didn't have a key on it, but it had the potential. So the key would be the man. Okay, the man, because we are the lock, they are the key. All right, it's simple biology. All right. So anyway, so my heart, which was broken, is this cycle of the brokenheartedness is coming to an end, and there is going to be a key put on that key ring. And one of the things I've been wondering is, do I want to keep my house or not keep my house as I move into this next phase of my life? And according to this dream, it's a strong indication that my new love, whoever this person might be, that we will not be staying in my house. We will not be keeping my house. So wherever my heart takes me, whoever has the key of my heart, to fix its brokenness, it looks like I'm going to be moving in with that person. But anyway, that was the end of both of those dreams, and I know that is weird, but yes, we are in the ninth new moon of the year, Virgo, okay? And in Virgo, we give birth. We give birth to something, all right? Something new, something fresh. So anyway, but first, before you can give birth to something new, you have to let the old die, right? So it's interesting because the full moon is right there at September 9th, 2029 this year, and the full moon, okay? So the death part of this cycle is in the first half, right? Where we get rid of all those things that prevent us from having a healed heart. And then on 999 is when it comes into its fullness, and hopefully a man will show up who can heal my broken heart. So we'll see how that all works out. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty interesting dreams for me. See how it can apply to you. You know, if you're out there and you're wanting to have your heart healed, then and to draw in a new love, then definitely take advantage of this time, this first part of the month, to do the healing, the inner healing, to get rid of, to really address issues that you have had from past relationships, right? Really look at those issues, try to heal it, and then come into your fullness, right, at the full moon. So anyway, yeah, that's it for today. My name is Wendy, and we're all living in the winds of change.